Hi there, Shopon on this side, founder and host of mostly all the podcasts you see here on Musicstaan. The following conversation is with Mr. Ray of Universe Records, who recently formed a band to release their inaugural album. The band is named Fly to the Sun. Well, this inaugural album by Fly to the Sun actually features a lot of legendary musicians and members from bands and groups like Kansas, David Lee Roth or DLR, Mr. Big, Michael Jackson, and so on and so forth. Well, here are the notable musicians who played in this album. We have Mr. Ray, of course, doing the vocals and flute, and also as a part of the Universe Records and is on this album. We have Jennifer Batten. That's right, she was the guitar player for Jeff Beck and Michael Jackson. We have Billy Sheehan on bass for this album. That's also right. The bass player who played for so many artists, to name some, Steve Vai, David Lee Roth, Mr. Big, the Winery Dogs, and so on and so forth. They have Giddings, that's right, who played the keyboards for Jethro Tull and The Animals. We also have Gregg Bissonette, who played the drums for Ringo Starr and David Lee Roth. We have Deninzon, who played the violin for Kansas. We have Sansaverino, who was the #1 Billboard chart-topping guitar player of all time, and other very notable musicians in this eclectic album. Well, there's a song on this album known as Taj Mahal, which is dedicated to the beauty of India, the beauty of Taj Mahal, and to the people of India. The words from Mr. Ray's mouth itself. That song's copy has been sent to the Cabinet of Ministers and our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi. And for me, if you ask me, I'm very honored and humbled to be having a conversation with Mr. Ray, who has been involved in this project with so many legendary musicians and, people from which we can learn a lot, right? So, from my end, I'm very humbled and honored, and I guess you'll dig this entire podcast session as well. Cheers, enjoy.
All right. Hello to the good people over the internet. Today we have with us a very special guest with me, an artist, a true innovator, more or less a genius, a flautist, a composer, a musician, whatnot. Mr. Ray with us. I would say to know more, I would like to have Sir speak some words of wisdom, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's good to be with you, Suparna, and I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, and for the people out there listening in, I am honored. I live on the other side of the planet, but technology is wonderful, and we're able to talk like you're sitting right next to me, and so I am honored to be with you all, and I certainly appreciate your time in doing this and introducing me and our band and this great album that we think could be very, very successful. So thank you.
All thanks to you for taking a time out, even after recording and creating and putting, I guess, hours and hours, thousands and hours behind this entire album that we're going to be mesmerized with. I would say for the people, most of the viewers are familiar with rock music, old school music, new age music, in a broader term music. So as you said at the very first, we had a word that we are all at the curve of learning all the time. Wherever we are 50, we are 40, 21, it doesn't matter. But if we stay around people who are anyway developing themselves, and they're uncomfortable, they like being uncomfortable, they like being challenged at different things. Even if, for example, if I don't know French, if I learn French at first, I'm not gonna get good at it. I'm gonna suck very bad.
Right.
But some people give up at that certain point. I guess it's like let's leave it. I'm not gonna do it. Let's do something else. Play football or cards or whatever. But the people who go on it's like fine. The first time it's a bit problematic, but later on, I'm very, very hopeful that the light will be there at the end of the tunnel if I pass through this part. So I guess your music speaks like that. It has spoken to me like that till now, especially the songs have sent me. And for the people, I would say this is the first time I'm talking with Mr. Ray on one-on-one. We just had words on mail and nothing else. So that's the entire beautiful story behind this entire session. So welcome, sir, once again, and thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you very much. The honor and pleasure is all mine.
So if I come to some curious questions, as you know, we don't have any script for this podcast, so it's all ears and hands.
Yes.
How did you develop yourself as a person from the day you were born until now we are talking on Zoom?
Yes. Yeah, well, I started out very young. When we're young children, we all think, what are we going to do with our life? And I thought, I want to work in a lab. I love science, and I wanted to be in a lab. So I started working in labs at 14 years old in cancer research labs, and I went to university and got my degree and got into research. So my life career was in cancer research. I worked for big pharmaceutical companies managing their research. So I learned a lot about all that, and I did well. And but music was always my love, right? I started out as a trumpet player, and I loved playing trumpet, and then I grew into more rock music, got into playing guitar and flute, and I always loved to sing. And so it was just even though I earned my living in research, and that's where I got to know a lot of people from India, because people from India, and I'm not just saying this because my audiences are who you are, but people from India are very brilliant, very smart people. So I got to meet a lot of people from India, a lot of scientists that I worked with, and the thing I loved about working with the people from India is not only are they very smart with science in their field, but they were so well-rounded people. They knew about sports, they knew about music, they knew everything. And they were the most well-rounded people I ever worked with. And I thought, I wished I had been born in India, because the people there are special. And I mean that with all my heart. I loved working with them, and I made many great friends through the years from people from India. So when this album developed, and I put the band together, we started producing the songs, I thought, I had a track that had a very Indian kind of Russian sound to it, and I thought I would like to do a song to honor the people of India that I love so much. So I produced this song called Taj Mahal, and it just flowed very naturally, and just the lyrics, and I talked to Jennifer Batten and Billy Sheehan about it, and I said, I really want to do a really cool song about India, and I'm producing this song called Taj Mahal, and Jennifer and Billy just played the most beautiful parts on it, and it just came together so naturally and like it was meant to be. And at the very end, when Billy recorded his bass track, I don't know how many of you folks out there know who Billy Sheehan is, but Billy is perhaps, in my estimation, the best bass player in the world today. And he's just so amazing. And so when Billy recorded his bass track for Taj Mahal, he called me and he said, "Ray, I think you're going to like this. bass track, and he said at the end of the song, in the finale of the song, he said, I played a sitar bass.
Oh my God.
And he said it came out so great that he said, I'm so excited, I want to put it up on my website if I could. And I said, certainly, you can do that. And he played a sitar bass. And for people who hear Taj Mahal, you will hear him come in at the end with this just wonderful sitar bass. So it's a great bass solo at the end of Taj Mahal. And Jennifer's guitar work was beautiful on it. And then, of course, I played some flute parts on it. And it turned out to be a great song. But every song was like that. You know, the album just developed so naturally that it was really a pleasure to work with it. It wasn't difficult because we all had so much fun doing it. It was so creative and enjoyable.
So, when I was a kid, I had really bad taste in music, honestly, and I was into sports. I played a lot of sports, like to a good level, athletics and football and all that. And after some point, sports took a backseat, and I was pretty bad at studies. Pretty bad, you know. I mean, it's just pretty horrible. So I had to do something. We have to pay our Wi-Fi bills anyhow. So I thought, okay, let's try something creative, because from the very childhood I've always been creative, like making things with paper mash and seeing what is there, what is that, you know. Fickle-minded person. I want to know everything in the planet, like what is this, why the continents are 7. Stupid things. At the very first it seemed stupid, but later on I kind of realized that all those stupid things shaped me up in a really good way, which I never thought it would. And I got into playing the guitar as an instrument, and it's still my primary instrument I play. So right now I'm a musician and as well as a podcast host, having wonderful guests like you on the show. And my sister introduced me to the first song, and I didn't like to listen to it. I didn't like it because you have this different whole world suddenly in front of you. You're like, I'm fine in my own back world, you know. And I listened to that song, and the song was "Stairway to Heaven" by Led Zeppelin.
Sure.
And I was like, and firstly I didn't like it. I was like, I'll go back to my own music. But the second day I'm like, okay, let's give it a try, you know, once more. Let's see what happens. I gave it a shot. Third day I listened to it. I don't know, somehow that Jimmy Page guitar solo pulled me inside, and that was my first idol, I would say, Mr. Jimmy Page. And ripping those rock solos off and pentatonics and this, and I'm like, oh, this is a lot to process right now. And so my first good song I heard was Led Zeppelin, from Led Zeppelin, "Stairway to Heaven," and I then shifted to different rock bands, shifted to metal, from like Beatles to Metallica to Megadeth to all these instrumental virtuosos, Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan, Joe Satriani, and like Mr. Steve Vai was really an inspiration for me. Actually, he is touring right now in Europe, and he's coming to the city I live in, Calcutta, this December. So my wish is to go and see him, but the tickets are flying off really fast.
Yep.
And then trios and experimental music like the Aristocrats, Mr. Guthrie Govan, drummers at progressive metal. Like, I listen to a lot of things, and then slowly, unconsciously, my thought pattern of listening to the music I listened to shifted from there to this new world. Like I didn't have to try and convince myself to, listen to this. This is quality music. That hard work went into this. It just happened very naturally. And I'm pretty blessed. I heard that song. Even if I didn't heard it, I never would have been a musician till now or doing any of the things I am doing right now. So that's my kind of a short story in a nutshell. How would you rate that?
Nice. That's very good. Well, it's a progression. Life is a progression. And we're always learning and developing and growing. And the Stairway to Heaven solo is a great solo to start with. And, I am a friend and fan of Jethro Tull. And another great solo you might want to try is the guitar solo on Aqualung, the song Aqualung. Is really because of the way the solo develops in Aqualung is just very creative and melodic, and it has such a great structure. Try that one sometime.
Surely.
Yeah.
I would love to. In context with you working in labs, and you said you were interested in science, so you studied that and you got into labs working from 14 when you were 14. So how did that shift happen? Like for example, you were one day sitting in your room having coffee and thought, okay, what now? My age is maybe 14 now, then I'll be 17 and 20 and henceforth. Did you sit with a pen and paper and really figured things out that, okay, these are the things I like, these are the things I don't like. So what should I do? And how should I do it? What will be my career? So can you
Sure.
For me, tell me that process, because we as the young generation, as I very firstly said, we think we know it all. We think we know everything, we know all the planets, all the galaxies, everything. We think we know it all. But fortunately, we know it in theory versions, not in practicality or reality. And both are kind of different things. So if you shine some light on that topic.
Yeah, your life can develop along various paths. We don't have to focus on just one thing. And the human brain is just so amazing. And so even though I was working in the pharmaceutical research field, and I earned a good living doing that, music was always what I loved. And so there was a way to pay the bills and then a way to stimulate my creative side. And they both worked in tandem just fine. I made time to do both, and I'm involved in many other things too. So they all work fine. We can do many things. I've been into sports all my life. I was in the management of the National Football League team also.
Oh, wow.
On top of this, I was vice president of the public relations arm of the Buffalo Bills football team. So I did many things at the same time. And we can all do that. The human brain is just so amazing. I don't think people give it enough credit sometimes. I read something the other day that was amazing. 90% of the calories that we consume, that we have in our body, 90% goes to the brain. The brain requires tremendous energy. That's why it's so important to eat good, because you are what you eat, right? And you want to feed your brain high quality foods and vitamins, minerals. So the human brain is limitless. It's infinite. What we can do with our brain, it's just so amazing. And it frustrates me as a person sometimes to see people not utilize their true capabilities, because our brain is just crying out for creativity, and we should utilize that. So there are many things you can do. You don't have to just focus on one path in your life. Our brain is capable of a lot more than one thing. That's amazing.
I mean, in the context of brain, like what I personally think, and it's very alive to you, I also kind of think that like it's like kind of a melted piece of metal. The more we beat it and wreck the heck out of it, it's gonna take a good shape.
Yes.
Like from the greatest discoveries to the nastiest stuff things in the human civilization has been from this small furry little thing inside our skull. So how do you think a creative person utilizes their brain, and a person who is lazy or doesn't like challenges and everything is in shortcuts and wants everything in a, get rich quick by tonight, something of that sort?
Yeah. Yeah, you just you just have to put your mind to it, and realize within yourself that each one of us has such amazing capabilities. People out there who don't have any direction and I see, people begging on the street corner sometimes, and it breaks my heart because I look at them not as a beggar, I look at them as a soul of the universe, right? And I think you have so much potential, so much untapped potential that you could do so much with your life. And whether it's music or working a job or whatever, don't waste your time sitting there asking people for money when you can do it yourself and feel good about yourself and contribute to society. And some people can't. Some people have physical problems or mental problems where they're just not able to, and I understand that, of course. But when I see somebody who is a vital, healthy, able-bodied person and they don't do anything with their life, it makes me sad because I know, our spirit within us and our brain is just crying out to do more, and so we just have to, everybody should meditate and contemplate, what am I going to do with my life? Do I want to sit here with a cardboard sign asking for money? Or do I want to be a musician? Or do I want to be an artist? Or do I want to get a job and help mankind in some way? I think we all have such tremendous capability. So, I hope and pray about that all the time, that people will, utilize those great capabilities that we all have within us. Oh boy, it's an amazing thing, and so I wish I could get through to everybody. Say, make use of your life, make your mark in life, do whatever you can do. We can't all be brain surgeon. We can't all be a rocket scientist. I forget that. But there's something that we can all do. And I always encourage people to try to make something of themselves. Life is so short. Eternity lasts forever. But life, physical existence, we're here for such a short time. Make use of that.
Like, to all the viewers, and especially me, how did you come up with this, or came up with this idea to make a record where you have all these genius of musicians, people who played for Michael Jackson, Jethro Tull, Mr. Big, and I can just name on and on, like Billy Sheehan and Andrew Giddings. what did you and how did you think about, or how did Fly to the Sun happened?
Good. Yeah. Well, once I decided to make the album, I needed to put a band together, and I thought about who best to do this, and so I started approaching the musicians that I had selected to get involved to see if they had interest. And so I contacted Billy Sheehan, Jennifer Batten, Andrew Giddings, JJ Sansaverino, who's an amazing guitarist. I started talking to all these people, and they all were very excited about the project, and they said yes. They all wanted to do it. They didn't even hesitate, and I like that because when I'm working with people, whatever it is, music or whatever, I want people to be genuinely enthused, to be motivated to do something. I don't want to have to grab somebody by the wrist and pull them in. Right, I want people to say yes. I want to work. I want to do this, and so they were all so excited about it, and that made me feel good because I knew I had the right team. I knew not only were they all gifted musicians, but that they were good people. No ego problems, no nasty habits, and which happens a lot, unfortunately. With music, we all. Musicians all have an ego, right? You have to be a musician. You have to have an ego. However, you want to have a controlled ego. You want to be able to get along with people. And so I wanted team players, and I've known Jennifer for years, and I knew she would be wonderful, and she was very excited, and she has just put so much work into this album. She also produced both videos, both the Taj Mahal video and the Soaring with Angels video that we did as a promo for the album.
Round the sun, what's done can't be undone. The Taj Mahal of life houses everyone. The rich can feed the poor, the sick can find a cure. Everyone can live at the Taj Mahal. Lights up the sky, the sparkle in your eye, the beauty of this place called the Taj Mahal, the wonders of the world, the universe unfurled, the golden light glows bright over everyone. can be as one. Your heart shines like the sun. The energy of love lives in everyone. The rich can feed the poor. The sick can't find a cure. We all can find our peace at the Taj Mahal.
Jennifer is one of those people who could do anything. She could have been a doctor. She could have been a lawyer. She's just, right? very smart woman. So she has contributed so much to this project. And Billy, and when I first talked to Billy Sheehan, I said, I didn't have a drummer yet in the band. So I said, I've got to get a drummer. And Billy, I said, I want the best. If I'm going to do an album and put a band together, I want the best musicians I can possibly find. And Billy said, Gregg Bissonette is the best. And I worked with him. Gregg was drummer in Lee Roth's band with Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan. And he said, let me talk to Gregg Bissonette and see if he is interested in being in this band project. And I heard from Gregg later on that day. And Gregg said, hey, Billy contacted me and told me about what you're going to do, and I would love to be part of this. So I thought, great, now we got the best drummer. Gregg Bissonette is rated the #1 drummer in the world today. A survey just came out on Modern Drummer magazine, and Gregg Bissonette won for best drummer. So we just have a great team put together. JJ Sansaverino, one of our guitarists, was rated #1 on Billboard. So he's amazing too. And Joe Deninzon is violinist for Kansas. I don't know if you're familiar with prog rock band Kansas.
Kansas, yep.
But yeah, so Joe is their violin player in the band.
And
he also plays guitar. Oh, he's amazing. He's very highly educated in violin. He's got a master's degree in violin, and Joe is just an extremely talented person. And so we brought him in because I needed some violin parts in these songs. And I asked Joe, and the same thing. Yeah, I'd love to do this. And so it's kind of a dream band. I've been reading. There's just a ton of information coming out now about this album, and they're calling us a super group. And I laughed, but I understood it, because how could it not be called a super group when you got people like them, right? And so it's exciting, and I'm just so honored to have all of them playing with me, and so yeah, it's we were originally going to do a 4-song EP and see if people liked it, and then we could do more. But then as we started working, when you're working with creative people, they always want to do more and more. Before you knew it, we had the 5th song and the 6th and the 7th and the 8th, and I'm like, well, we just do an album. We got 8 songs produced now. So it quickly went from an EP to a full album. But they're wonderful people. They're all like best friends, brothers. Jennifer's like a sister to me. And Michael Jackson just thought the world of Jennifer. And that's the first time I ever saw Jennifer play. I went to the Super Bowl in California, and Michael Jackson was the halftime entertainer at the Super Bowl. Yeah, it was the highest rated Super Bowl halftime show in history. I forget how many millions of people watched it just because it was Michael, right? And he was a phenomenon. But Jennifer, in my estimation, is a music person. Jennifer stole the show because she just ran from one end of the stage to the other, playing the most incredible guitar things. And there's Michael, who is a world-renowned star, and Jennifer was like, everybody was watching her because she was just so amazing.
She like dominated the entire stage, basically.
Yeah, and she had the big hair. Remember the big white hair?
Big one, yeah.
And she was just like, she was the show. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't believe somebody could steal the show from Michael Jackson, which he did. And the same thing when I saw her a few years later with Jeff Beck. And she was in Jeff Beck's band, and she toured with Jeff for 3 years. And then when I saw that, I'm like, this woman can just play. She's so amazing. I mean, she was so innovative with the tapping and all the great guitar techniques, which nobody other than Eddie Van Halen, nobody had really perfected. And Jennifer came along and just developed that incredible style. And now, of course, everybody is emulating Eddie Van Halen and Jennifer Batten's tapping techniques. And but she played great stuff on the album. Billy was amazing. Everybody just we have a song on the album. Actually, the last song on the album is called "Please Save My Heart Again," and Joe Deninzon just played the most beautiful violin stuff on it. Wait till you hear that song. That's just
Paradise.
Just a great song. So yeah, we got a lot of talent. I did an interview the other day, and I was telling him that I call this the genius band, except for me. Everybody else is a genius except for me. But my skills are in organizing. That's what I do, right? Because of my management background working in the pharmaceutical business, I'm pretty good at managing people and detail oriented. So while I don't regard myself anywhere near the level of these brilliant musicians, but I put them together, and that was my contribution to the band, was assembling this great group of people. So that's kind of how it all came together, and we keep in touch regularly. They're all touring all the time. They all, as musicians do these days, they're all in multiple bands. That's just the way it is. And Billy's been touring with Mr. Big and also the Winery Dogs. And Winery Dogs are an incredible band. Yeah. And they sell out every show, big venues, worldwide. Every show is sold out. And the thing I love about the Winery Dogs is it's Mike Portnoy on drums. Mike Portnoy
Oh my
is just
God!
amazing.
I mean, Mr. Mike. Oh my God.
And
Oh my God.
Mike was the drummer in Dream Theater, which is very complex progressive rock. And Mike is just such an amazing drummer. So Winery Dogs is Billy Sheehan on bass, Mike Portnoy on drums, and Richie Kozin on guitar and vocals. And he's just, Richie's like from another planet. He's just so amazing.
One more super
And
group.
well, yeah, they're incredible. So they're touring all the time, and I keep in touch with Billy regularly, and I'm proud of him to see him doing so well. And but he loves this band too, and I'm very proud to have him, as I am with all the band members. So call him super group, call him whatever you want, but I just I love each and every one of them like a brother and sister. My wife, Carol, is the lead producer of this album. So it's a diverse band, and then we have women and men, right? And but the synergy is just magical because each one is just so great and so committed to this, and they believe that we have the chance to be pretty big, with this lineup. So we'll see what happens. We'll give it our best shot, and hopefully the world will accept it. It's very positive, uplifting lyrically, which I think the world needs today. We need people to be happy, right? We want people to feel good about their life. And that was one of my goals with this album, was to produce a record that people could listen to and say, yeah, these musicians are great. The lyrics are happy and make me feel good about myself and about the world. And I remember when, the Beatles first came out. It was a tumultuous time for the world. There was the Vietnam War and all these things going on at the time. But when the Beatles came out, they brought peace and love and happiness to people in their music, right? And to this day, I mean, all these years, 60 years later, the Beatles' music is still wonderful because it made people feel good. It made people feel happy. Gregg Bissonette, our drummer, is also drummer for Ringo Starr in Ringo's band, and they tour. And Ringo is just such an amazing person. His big thing is, peace and love, and he runs around on stage going peace and love. And the world needs more of that. We need to care about each other. We need to love each other and be kind and understanding, even though we may have our differences politically or philosophically. We need to realize that our planet is like a pinhead in the universe, and yet we don't always see eye to eye. We need to change that in this world and get back to those kinds of values where we care about each other and love each other and accept each other for who we are. And even though we may have differences, that doesn't mean we can't still care about each other, right? So that's what this music is all about. And you'll hear, once you hear the rest of the songs on the album, you'll hear what I mean about not only the musical vibe, but the energy and the lyrical content. And we want people to be happy. We want people to feel like, you can walk down the street and you see somebody and you say hello to them. Have a good day. It's not that hard to be nice. In fact, it makes you feel good, right? It makes you feel good when you're nice to somebody. It makes you feel good, and that spreads. When you're nice to somebody, then they want to be nice to somebody, and it spreads. So I want people to have their Ringo philosophy of peace and love, and to care about each other again, right? Yeah. So that's our goal. So we wanted to produce an album that made people feel good, and it had great musical chops as well. So, yeah.
I would really like to do one session with Mr. Billy and all the amazing musicians you've had in this album, because I don't know how much I'll get to learn from these maestros myself. So I'm looking for that day when I'll try and learn from these people, and we'll sit like this and just listen. I won't talk. I just listen.
Certainly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you learn so much from people like that. You know, you really do. And even with my background, I have a lot of background in management and in music too, but I still learn from them because they're so smart and they're so good at what they do. And Jennifer, oh my God, Jennifer is just like such a genius, and I've learned so much from her. And so yeah, it's been a very rewarding process, and I feel blessed. I feel truly blessed to have been involved with such wonderful people.
You as a musician and as a composer, and also played flute, you're a flautist. How do you? Was that your like first instrument you picked up, or like how did your journey as a musician, as a person, like solely as a musician, happen?
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, I started out playing trumpet, and I was really good at it, and I should have stayed with it because even as a child, I did big recitals on stage with two other trumpet players in front of huge crowds, and I was just a little boy, but I was a great trumpet player. That was my instrument, and I didn't stay with it because once I got into rock music, I thought, oh, trumpet doesn't fit in. I want to learn something else. So I always liked to sing, but I picked up guitar and I started playing some guitar, and then I heard Jethro Tull.
Oh my God!
For the first time, and I heard the flute, and I thought, oh man, a flute in a rock band, this is really
crazy.
Cool. And so I ran out and I bought a flute, and I started working on the flute, and it's just such a beautiful instrument. And I, like Ian, never took a lesson. Ian is totally self-taught, and he's just an amazing flute player, but never took a lesson. He just taught himself, and that's same with me. I've never taken a lesson. I just play by ear. But I love the flute. It's in the context of a rock band. So it just kind of developed, but singing was always my favorite thing. I like to sing. You know, and even when I'm walking around the house, I'll be singing something. You know, just that's what I really like to do. So I'm a okay musician, but I just enjoy singing. My wife.
If you're calling yourself an okay musician, we are in trouble.
No. The good musicians are the ones that I brought in the band. I'm just a singer in a rock and roll band. But yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah.
So this album has like 8 songs in it, to release on October 27th. And also, our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has received the copy of this particular album and the song, especially in the Taj Mahal. So, what, as you said, like, you wanted to honor the people of India, and thank you so much for saying those mesmerizing words. when you thought of making this album to India, what was your thought process behind it? Like, it's like entering in a new country or totally. So it's a different sphere of life, if I'm not wrong. So what went behind thinking this? Okay, like I'll have to send a copy of this to the Prime Minister of the country and then get my music there. So how did you even think about this? Like, what went on? Like, were you guys all together recorded and then were thinking together, or that was like a soul brainchild?
Yeah, the way Taj Mahal developed, I have a producer, Alex Grata, and he gave me an idea for a backing track to a song, and I listened to it, and I thought, you know, it kind of has an Indian feel to it. I want to develop an Indian song, and I always, you know, always revered Taj Mahal as a building, as one of the wonders of the world. It built in 1640, and yet today it's still a marvel. I don't know how they built it, but it's just such a beautiful building and such an honor to know that mankind could produce such an incredible building. So I said, let's do a song to honor the Taj Mahal and the people of India, because, like I said, I always loved working with people from India. They were one of my favorite of all the people I worked with. I love my Indian friends, and I said, this is a way I can show my love for India. And so the song started to develop, and the percussion is just so beautiful on that song. And I had Billy play the bass track and Jennifer the guitar track, and we started putting it together, and it just happened so naturally that it was like, the cosmos kind of just made it happen. You know, we were just like puppets on strings, and yet the song came together so naturally that I thought, this is meant to be. This is going to be our gift to the people of India and to the Taj Mahal and the builders of Taj Mahal. 20,000 men built the Taj Mahal, 20,000, and 1,000 elephants. So this is our way of honoring the elephants as well, because 1,000 elephants, with all their hard work, helped in the building of that magnificent structure. So, the more I thought about it, I thought, this song is just so magical. I've got to get it to the government of India. I want them to know how much we love the country and how much the Taj Mahal means to us. And so I sent it I had promotional CDs made, very beautiful, professional packaged, promotional singles of Taj Mahal. And I sent it to Prime Minister Modi and 3 council generals in that district where the Taj Mahal is located. And I told them, I said, this is a song that we produced for the country of India, and we want you to have it. So we sent it to them, and what they do with it is, if they want to use it for tourism, if they want to play it in a tourist shop for Taj Mahal, whatever, this is an American tribute to the country of India and the Taj Mahal. So I hope the government likes it. I hope Prime Minister Modi enjoys it, and I think he will. I know he's a very busy man and running a country and so much going on. right now, but I have no doubt that he has listened to it, and I think it probably made him smile.
It's a sure thing that whenever we people of India receive a gesture of kindness or some gift of some sort, we dedicatedly schedule time for understanding what we have been given. That's what I can solemnly assure you. We schedule time. So it's like in India, the famous thing is weddings. If you're not familiar with, Indian weddings are something some countries' GDPs will fail if you count the entire Indian's wedding spend. It's that much.
Yeah.
So what happens is in weddings, the groom, the bride receive gifts normally. So they spend schedule a dedicated day for just opening those gifts and seeing, acha, this was from this was from that family, this one, like adventurous excitement, something of like adjectives. So they schedule time for pleasurable moments like opening up 10,000 million gifts received from people, and all of these different occasions. We have one coming up in Bengal, where I live, West Bengal. It's a Durga Puja. It's a very sacred celebration for 4 days straight. We have here where Ma Durga has been worshipped, and all her blessings have been showered upon one of us. So that's coming up in October. It's in this month, 20th, 21st. So pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited right now because I'm talking to you and you are praising this country for what it is. So once again, like, thank you so much for saying all those words. It means a lot to me as an Indian person and as a citizen of this country.
Well, thank you, and trust me, it's heartfelt. It's not, I'm not saying it because I'm speaking with you and the Indian people. It's heartfelt. I felt this way about the people from India all my life, and then as my career grew and I got to know them on a personal level and got to know what wonderful people they were. Maybe I lived in India in a previous lifetime, because it seems like I have that in my heart, and there's always been this cosmic attraction with me in India. So it is heartfelt. It's not that I'm saying it to just to be gracious. I'm saying it because I mean it. Yeah. Wonderful people. I hope to get there someday. I have a friend here.
I would be fortunate enough to meet you if you're here in this country one day.
I hope to come. It's a 27-hour flight, but maybe I can get a flight that has beds so I can lay down.
Yeah.
Because 27 hours is a long time to sit in a little airplane, you know. But I hope to go, and I have a friend who moved to Thailand, lives in Thailand now. He moved from here to Thailand. He's a good friend of mine, and so I could go and visit him in Thailand and go and visit all of you people too, and I could see the Taj Mahal and give it a kiss in person.
Yeah, definitely. It's worth 1,000 kisses. I will come to the very last and very awaited question for the session, which I generally ask to all of my guests. That is, from your decades of experience working, playing with extraordinary people, talking to really smart people across the globe, understanding them, very shortly, can you give me and the entire audience of ours, the young people, the people who are aspiring to be or do something, 3 practical advices that we can work upon right away without hesitation, because we Indian people sometimes get lazy.
Yes. So I'm not sure. You cut out on the last part of that. Could you repeat that?
So, would you give 3 practical advices from your decades of playing and being with so many extraordinary people, like working with them and this? Would you give 3 practical advices for all of us aspiring creative people? Not only the young ones, but the people who are at a well age now. So what would that be? 3 practical advices for all of us from your experience of decades.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's always good to find people that will take the time with you to be a mentor, so you can learn from people with great skills, wisdom, and experience. I think it's really important to learn. That's why I revere my elders, because old people, while they may not be able to walk real good anymore, and they may not have the physical abilities that they once had, they have such incredible wisdom and common sense. And so I would say, always align yourself with people who can pass along wisdom and skills. Whether you're learning guitar, find the best guitar teacher you can find, and somebody who you connect with and are comfortable with. I think taking lessons is very, very important. My wife is a great guitar player, and the reason is she started taking guitar lessons when she was 13, and so she learned it's good to start when you're younger, because especially with an instrument like a guitar, because you want to set up those pathways in your brain, and it's much easier when you're younger to learn all the chords and the scales and all those things. And when you're older, of course, you're never too old. But so taking lessons, very, very important. And the other thing is, I would say, like I said earlier, taking your time, being patient. Being patient, the first time I took a guitar lesson from a teacher, he told me, I don't have a magic wand that I can just wave over you and make you a good guitar player. He said you have to, right? He said you have to work at it, you have to study it, you've got to practice every day. And he said, even if you just have time to pick up your guitar for 20 minutes a day, pick it up every day and play something. And he said what happens then is it becomes part of you. That instrument becomes part of you. And your brain starts to look at it as not a guitar, but another arm.
Yeah.
And it becomes part of who you are. And so that's another thing that I think is very useful, is be patient. None of us are going to be good right away. It takes time. You got to work at it and put the time into it, and be patient, and just practice. I have another friend of mine who is a very good guitar player, bass guitar player, and his wife was telling me that when he walks around the house, he's got his bass with him, and he's walking around the house playing stuff on his bass. And she said it's the funniest thing, because he'll be walking through the kitchen and he'll have his bass and he'll be playing stuff. But that's how you get good. Just be patient and work with it, and all of a sudden you go, hey, I'm starting to get good. And so that's what I would impart on my viewpoint on all that. Yeah.
It's been a wonderful time talking to you, sir. I've had a lot of sessions with really wonderful innovators, musicians, business people from across the globe. But every session for me personally is a adventure, because there's no script, there's nothing. I just don't know what's gonna happen. If we connect, it's done. 1.5 hours is there and there, it's just so beautiful. But I would really like to thank you for taking the time out once again. A person like you coming onto my show, spending your time, energy and effort building that album, sending it to different ways. I mean, the work that you've put in, it's clearly reflective and I can see it. From the bottom of my heart, I would say thank you so much for joining in and giving and sharing your wisdom, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.